Hey team, Browcoat here. Welcome to our review of Days Gone. Remember to give us a like or a sub if you dig our stuff, and also a big thanks to PlayStation for the early access review code. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. So, Days Gone is yet another AAA release in the long line of PS4 exclusives this generation, and I can say from the top, it's certainly continuing PlayStation's trend of exceptional exclusives. That said, I'm not sure I would put it shoulder to shoulder with the likes of God of War or Horizon Zero Dawn. So, for the review, here's the plan. I'll do a bit of an overview of the game, then use our good, bad and ugly strategy we've started using on the site to try and paint a succinct review for the title. As a genre overview, Days Gone is a third-person shooter with melee combat set in a post-zombie or freaker outbreak open world. It has mission-based quests that progress the story. Anyone who's played Horizon Zero Dawn or Red Dead Redemption will straight away spot the similarities. Also maybe a whiff of Far Cry in the mix as well. Either way, it certainly puts Days Gone in good company. So, Deacon St. John is an ex-soldier who at the time of the zombie apocalypse was part of a motorcycle gang. After a short intro, me as the player was dropped into semi-rural Oregon. Deacon and his fellow gang member Boozer, who, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, probably likes the odd beer, are trying to carve out some sort of an existence in the now much changed zombie infested world. I won't delve much further into the story of the characters, but suffices to say Deacon's skills are of use to the other survivors. He's essentially a gun for hire, or what they call a drifter. So Deacon completes missions around the world to progress each storyline, very similar to how it was laid out in Red Dead Redemption 1. Mission rewards multiple currencies, so XP for skills, trust with nearby camps and quest givers to unlock better equipment, and then credits which can be used in each camp to buy that equipment and important motorcycle upgrades. So the motorcycle is intrinsic to Deacon's well-being and it has to be looked after. It's just like your horse in Red Dead Redemption. It's your baby. You look after it, you love it. It has to be fueled, maintained and upgraded, as Deacon has no help out there in the freaker infested world, and when he needs to get the hell out of Dodge, that chopper has to do its job. Mechanically, the game is rock solid. It leans heavily on stealth and melee combat mechanics, but it's also a very competent cover-based shooter. The skill trees allow for specialization and preferred playstyles, which is excellent. Importantly, at no point did I feel like I was fighting the mechanics or the controls, which in a AAA game should be expected, but it was still a nice surprise for everything to just feel so smooth and intuitive. So, time to just lay it out for you. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Logical place to start? The good. Now, I know it's a weird thing to start with, but the game has an excellent quick save system. Experimentation in games like this is half the fun, so being able to quick save before taking on a nest of freakers is just brilliant. Stand next to your bike, hold down the triangle button, save. Too easy. Now the world of Days Gone feels very real. From the looting of the vehicles to the detailed townships you pass through, they all look real in an end of the world kind of way. It's very, very good. The enemies are varied and have a sense that they are just existing, whether Deacon was there or not, particularly the freakers and the wildlife. Deacon's voice is perfect. The actor Sam Witwer, who has been in a raft of Star Wars games, as well as being from Battlestar Galactica, which is one of my favourite TV series, he delivered a brilliantly real and grounded performance. In fact, the majority of the voice work is excellent, but Witwer is an absolute standout. The link between Deacon and his bike and how the missions are designed is brilliant. Parking it for a quick getaway and making sure it has enough fuel all seems logical but not onerous, and it becomes part of your tactical decision making of, right, when this goes pear-shaped, am I going to be able to get out of this situation? And you've got to be planning for that. The final thing is allowing gamers to choose how to complete most objectives, with stealth, or going loud with guns, or using melee, or even baiting a huge freaker horde to come in and do Deacon's duty work for you. That is cool and very satisfying. All options are viable and they're all fun. Okay, so let's jump into the bad. Now, I'm probably being a wee bit fussy here, but there are a few niggles which reared their heads with me. The overall narrative, particularly in the formative hour or so, feels rushed and somewhat disjointed. I could not help but draw a comparison to the opening of The Last of Us and how I was introduced to Deacon, and frankly, Days Gone didn't put its best foot forward. That said, later on, Days Gone pulls itself together with some very interesting stories, particularly in one of the side quests where Deacon's questionable morals are well and truly exposed. The enemies, in particular the ones who use guns, are pretty predictable, and the stealth mechanics can be liberally abused. But on the flip side, the freakers are great fun to fight, especially if you get more than 5 or 6 coming at you. It's time to panic a wee bit. Days Gone is a pretty game, but having no real way to customize the HUD seems crazy in 2019. It has a couple of very minor options, but more often than not, your screen is contaminated with HUD, often when it just doesn't need to be. Hopefully that's addressed in a patch. Okay, so let's move on to the ugly. Now bear in mind, I'm kind of being fussy and I need to stick something in this category because it is a really good game. But we're talking about a game which is also being played pre-launch and pre the day one patch. So the loading screens are a bit slow. Now I'm not talking Anthem bad. They just felt slow. I think when I first started up the game each day, about 1.5 minutes to almost 2 minutes of loading screen before getting into the game itself, which is not earth-shattering, but it was still just kind of dragged a bit. There is some pop-in of assets and textures and some weird frame drops on occasion, but it's reasonably rare. The navigation of the menus with the swipe of the touchpad is just silly. It was silly when the PS4 launched and it's still silly now. It's just easier to use buttons. Thankfully there is the option of just tapping the bumpers to navigate around the menu system anyway. Like I said, overall, in the ugly category, nothing that serious. In summary, I would say Days Gone is excellent, but it doesn't revolutionise third-person open-world games in any major way. It is fun and approachable, but its narrative isn't as strong as I would have hoped for. That said, unlike Red Dead Redemption 2 for example, it actually wants you to play it and have fun without having to fill your day with busy work and travelling miles and miles just to get a cutscene to then start the next mission. That being said though, Days Gone will punish you for not having a plan for the unknown, like when 30 fast running freakers come out of a house looking to eat your face. You need to know where you're going and how you're getting away. Overall, it's a great game and I enjoyed every moment of the 30 plus hours I've sunken into it. Definitely consider picking up this game. Alright, so that's enough from me team. I really appreciate you sticking around for the review, and remember swing past Koru-Cottage.com to check out the rest of our stuff. Alright, catch you later.